Mahalo for tuning in to Island Focus and joining me in meeting PJ Foehr, who is the Interim Deputy Director for the Hawaii State Public Charter School Commission. Appreciate you being with us today, PJ.
My pleasure. Thank you for having us.
You know, from the Charter School Commission's perspective, how are we moving forward with education in a new way?
The pandemic has forced change upon us in education. Not many of us like to have change forced upon us. However, as charter schools, one of the things we're good at is change. That was the genesis of charter schools. We're a public school, but we don't function as, say, the Department of Education or a complex. Each of our 37 schools are all independent agencies, state agencies. So they all have their own governing board and their own directors. And I think this COVID situation, this pandemic situation, has really, in some ways, created an opportunity for our schools to demonstrate their flexibleness and their ability to be adaptable to the various situations that have been thrust upon us, whether it be health issues or just remote locations, etc. I'm really proud to be associated with them as an authorizer of charter schools, and not as a complex area superintendent or something. But I'm really honored to have worked with them through this crisis, through this pandemic, and see where we go next.
What have you observed in the different schools that they've done to adjust themselves that might actually lead toward the future of their curriculum or the future of their teaching strategies?
One of the things I've observed, and charter schools have always pushed back at this, is as much as it may appear that charter schools are not, say, connected or have a lot of flexibility around things like standardized testing or state assessments or other measures like that, we are still connected and held to those standards at times. And this situation has given us an opportunity, because of the disruption that took place, to look at other forms of assessment. I mean, half our schools are Hawaiian medium or language schools. We have many of our schools that are place-based. The conversations we're having with our schools is, how do we take this opportunity to start to really highlight and develop and shine a light on the assessments of student learning and the teaching practices that we're trying to put in place and measure how our students are growing. So it's an opportunity, again, to really look at different measures, other measures, than just, say, putting a lot of weight on a standardized assessment.
Well, and I love to hear that, because even though you didn't use the word innovation, it is a very innovative way of looking at learning and what we're measuring.
Our education system is so heavily reliant upon content. And many of our schools are more about context. And how do we develop the skills, whether they be locally connected skills, whether they're connecting to the AINA or the community that they're a part of, and how do they bring their students in and then develop the skills that are either connected to what Hawaii represents culturally, or from a past, connecting with the roots of where Hawaii was and how we want to bring it more prevalent into where we are now. How do we share who we are? How do we present, this is who we are and this is why it's relevant and important? Communication skills, writing skills, presentation skills, research skills. These are all things that our schools are they've been doing, but now we get an opportunity to show how it's benefiting our students.
And what I hear you saying also inherent in teaching the skills are the values of our island community, and the values that we take for granted perhaps, but that are so critical and necessary in the world right now.
Each of our schools has their own mission and vision. And many of their mission and visions are based upon the values of their local areas, their local communities, where they're centered. Being able to move away from, say, we're not going to be able to move away from it. We still have to have these standardized tests, but being able to direct more focus to what we value, what our schools value as it pertains to their mission and vision, is certainly something that we're actually relishing and the schools are working hard at right now.
Well, thank you so much for the time that you've spent with us today. And maybe one parting thought?
One of the things our charter schools is able to do is really respond to what the needs of their kids are. The students bring so many different great ideas and energy, and now they're all over the place. their ability to adapt and be flexible to what the needs of the students are and to listen. So they engage their students and find out where they're at. And our parents are very vocal as well. They engage with their governing boards. And so there's many discussions going on at a local level about how to bring students back in a safe manner. How do we meet the social emotional needs as well as the academic needs? One quick story, if I can, one of our schools, to get to the kids and to make sure their kids have what they need, put in place a mobile Wi-Fi service. And they took a van with mobile Wi-Fi hotspots, go to various areas in their community to help the kids who did not have access to Wi-Fi. That's the kind of adaptability that our schools are demonstrating, and it's all around listening to the kids and meeting the kids' needs.
Thank you for being with us today, PJ, and for sharing your enthusiasm about what's possible in education.
I love working with our schools. Thanks for having us today.
Mahalo for tuning in to Island Focus and getting to know PJ Foehr, who is the Interim Deputy Director for the Hawaii State Public Charter School Commission. Aloha.